Criminal prosecution typically begins with an arrest by a police officer. After the arrest, the police book the suspect. After the booking process, the suspect is placed in custody. If the suspect committed a minor offense, the police may issue a citation instead of arresting the suspect, with instructions to appear in court at a later date. Bail. If a suspect in police custody is granted bail, the suspect may pay the bail amount in exchange for a release. Release on bail is contingent on the suspect's promise to appear at all scheduled court proceedings. Sometimes bail may be set immediately after booking or at a later date. Alternatively, a suspect may be released on his own recognizance. In this case, a suspect need not post bail, but must promise in writing to appear at all scheduled court appearances. Generally, to release a suspect on his own recognizance, the court considers the seriousness of the offense and the suspect's criminal record, threat to the community, and ties to family and employment. Preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing may be held to establish the existence of probable cause. If there is no finding of probable cause, a defendant will not be forced to stand trial. If the accused makes bail before a scheduled preliminary hearing, the accused may not be entitled to one. Arraignment. In an arraignment, the suspect enters a plea. During arraignment, the judge reads the charges filed against the defendant in the complaint. The defendant usually may plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest to those charges. Pretrial motions. The defense attorney and the prosecution may file pretrial motions in order to resolve final issues and establish what evidence and testimony will be admissible at trial. Trial. At trial, the judge or the jury will find the defendant guilty or not guilty. The prosecution bears the burden of proof in a criminal trial. Thus, the prosecutor must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant committed the crimes charged. Sentencing. After the trial comes the sentencing stage. At this stage, the court determines the appropriate punishment for the convicted defendant. The court generally will consider a number of factors, including the nature and severity of the crime, the defendant's criminal history and personal circumstances, and the degree of remorse felt by the defendant. Appeal. An individual convicted of a crime may ask that his or her case be reviewed by a higher court. If that court finds an error in the case or the sentence imposed, the court may reverse the conviction or find that the case should be retried.